See and read. Mhm. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Hampstead Planning and Zoning Commission public hearing. It's Wednesday, July 24th, 2024, 7 p.m. Can we have a roll call, please?
You caught me off guard.
Uh-huh.
Sharon Callahan.
Here.
Lou Conyer. Here. Charlie Overmare.
Here.
Deborah Painter.
Here.
And Barb Yeager.
Here.
Thank you. The public is advised that members of the Hampstead Town Council may be present in attendance at this meeting. All persons are reminded that this session is being recorded on tape as required by law for the preservation of records and are asked when providing comment to give their name and address. All persons in attendance are requested to print their name and address and affiliation on the sign-in sheet which is at the door. And the order of the hearing, this tonight is about discussion of concept site plan for Tractor Supply Company, Hanover Pike. It's map 0500, parcel 3193.
Wendy, you and Michelle want to introduce yourselves?
Stan, come by the microphone, right above you. Right.
I'm Wendy Fulton with the Keith Corporation. We are a preferred developer for Tractor Supply, and we'll be developing this site for them as the use is a retail farm and ranch supply store. I think most of you probably might be familiar with them. They're already in the county, and this is just a new location for them.
Okay.
So,
And Michelle Carlson is here. She is our civil engineer with BL.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I guess it was 2 months ago where everyone got copies of the plan.
Right.
And so what you have here, this plan has actually been revised. There's been some changes made to it. We just got it in and haven't looked at it that closely yet. You will notice at the back of the package, you do have color elevations
Yep.
for the store. And then you also, the last page shows the proposed sign. I can tell you that the sign, what you're seeing in the plan is a pylon sign. We will be sending comments back when we review this more thoroughly. One of the comments will be that we're going to be requesting that it be changed to a monument sign.
Sorry, to what sign?
To a monument sign.
Okay. I kind of expected that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any other significant changes from the last time, or?
So the significant change that I've seen so far is the original plan showed a septic field and private septic. And I think I've discussed that here, that because it was in future for the sewer category, that would be allowed as long as the town agreed. Well, there's a very large water aquifer below that property, and we do not want to take any chances with. So we're basically telling them that they need to connect to county sewer. So on the utility page, which is actually page C3, which is sheet 6 of 8. If you look back towards the rear of the property, you see the letter Q, rear of the property, left-hand side somewhat. That Q, what that's showing is that's showing basically the sewer line going out underneath the railroad and connecting to a force main over there. So that plan, that's what the original plan was, to replace the private septic. Well, unfortunately, dealing with CXX and it going straight into a force main, which is not allowed, that's not going to work. So basically, we're going to go to Plan B, which is going to bring it out to along Main Street and run it south, possibly to dump it into the existing sewer around Greenmont Bowl. Plan C is take it across the street back by our welcome sign, and take it back near the new sewer pump station and tie it in there. So we're still working with utilities and the owner of the property across the street to find out which one would be the best. But one way or the other, they're gonna get sewer hookup.
Optimistic?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Look, in a very quick glance at the new plan, that's the first thing I noticed had been changed.
No chance of getting that sidewalk.
We can ask again.
I wasn't sure if it had been asked, so that's what.
Any other comments?
I don't know
Is
if
the sidewalk responsibility of the TSC, or is it responsibility of the town?
It would be the responsibility of the property owner, which in this case will be TSC. So what the discussion is a public sidewalk, the length of the property along Main Street.
Some of the existing properties have been there forever, like the bowling alley and the shopping center. So the town's face has changed since those buildings were there, but I'm thinking anything new that comes in, anything that we can add for kind of giving Hampstead that walkability. And even if there is a break kind of in between, it would be a nice thing to add.
Yeah, to have a
That's-
sidewalk there certainly would be, yeah. I agree.
I'm not expecting an answer for this. It's more of just sheer curiosity, just because of it's on top of, the community back there. There's a huge well back there that draws a lot of town water. And then there's those 2 retention ponds kind of to the south of the parking lot. And then with, typically I believe those are for runoff from because you're going to have it's not farmland anymore. It's going to run into those as drainage and stuff like that. Is there any, and I'm assuming there's going to be that type of thing checked by the county.
Absolutely.
But what I'm
That's all.
asking, is there any risk of pollutants or anything coming from the new, or is there another option besides that, or is there a way to, I think the retention ponds are necessary, but,
Yeah, as part of the stormwater management plan, it's gonna go through the gravel created wetland that we're gonna construct and then into a retention pond, so there'll be renovation that'll meet the, state and,
to filter it.
yeah.
Okay,
we'll meet
that's,
all the requirements that we need to for water quality.
that's what I assumed. I just
Yes.
wanted to point that out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we have to.
Thank you.
It was good to clarify that. Thank you.
What kind of time frame are we looking at? I mean, obviously, this is just the concept plan, but with the county and just
I
in-
think
getting an
TSC's is ASAP.
Just trying to get an idea of.
If you approved it tonight and this was the final approval, we would be there next week with a shovel in it.
Right.
I'm sure you would, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the concept phase, so in part 2, which is a public hearing, at some point they'll have to come back for approval of the concept phase, at which point we repeat the process and we go into the final review. So there'll be an introduction here of the final plan, along with a public hearing on the final plan, and then at some point an approval of the final plan, all the while simultaneously going through a brand-new final plan review with all the county agencies.
Okay, so this is the public hearing for the concept.
Correct.
Then you go
Right.
through with the intro and public hearing of the final.
Correct.
And then the final approval, or is that the
Correct.
same?
Nope.
Okay, so that's already two.
We're looking at least 4 months, and that's in best case scenario.
Okay,
And once you get through that, then you have the legal package process, which can take, you have to do public works agreements, could take a few months also.
okay. Just curious.
So it's not coming tomorrow. Gotta wait. Got a ways to go. Okay, any other discussion? Any comments?
Public
It's
input on
up
the
to you,
public.
it's public hearing. It's so quiet.
Hi, my name is Gerard Zeller. I'm located at 3800 North Carroll Lane. I would be right down the railroad tracks from the new TSC. Just came to see, what was involved in the process. I'm an educated landscape architect, so I'm interested in things like stormwater management and things like that. So if I wanted to see a copy of the plans, where would I go to find those?
I can email you a copy, or else you can get a hard copy, right?
Fantastic.
There you go.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Thank you so much.
Glad to give it to you. Welcome. Anyone else? If there is no one else interested in public comment about the Tractor Supply Company land development plans, then I'm going to close the public hearing. And may I have a motion, please, to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Closed. Thank you. Okay. This will be easier.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
See you next time. Okay, I'd like to open the Hampstead Planning and Zoning Commission regular planning and zoning meeting. Do we need another?
No, we do not need a roll call.
Thank you very much.
Everybody's still here, right?
We're all, we didn't leave. Thank you very much. Okay. And the same thing, all persons reminded that this session is being recorded on tape as required by law for the preservation of records and are asked when providing comment to give name and address. All persons in attendance requested to print their name and address at the front door. First on the agenda tonight, minutes approval, June 18th, 2024. That was a regular commission meeting. May I have a motion, please, to approve?
Make a motion to approve them?
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? So approved. Next on the agenda, zoning administrator update.
Okay, just a couple things for you this month. So the monthly update on the water system modernization and centralization project. The pipeline phase of the project is well underway. We are actually already have the paperwork out to requesting bids for the pipeline inspection services. We hope to be putting, by the end of the month, early August, putting out requests for bids for the actual pipeline contractors. We hope to award those contracts sometime in September. Then it has to go through a review and go to the State Board of Public Works since it's state money. We hope to have shovels in the ground putting pipes in by the end of this year. Because of the pipeline project and trying to get all those designs done, the site plans for the water treatment plants, which I originally thought would be here in June, they've been delayed slightly. I hope to have the site plans ready for this commission by September. So, Antietam Broadband, currently working in the Roberts Field development. They're into Roberts Field itself now. Once they finish that, Main Street and side streets off of Main Street will be the only sector left. And a lot of the Main Street and the older houses on the side streets, that will all be aerial work. So there's not much digging left. Once they do that, then they've got some punch list items that have to be completed. And one of those punch list things is they will come back and they will look at every property that they dug into, and to make sure that that piece of ground that they brought up is now growing and looks the same as when they started. So they hope that they'll be able to offer their service to residences this fall. So, and last thing, Warshack's Car Wash, they've resubmitted their plans to the county for review. They need approval from several county agencies, including stormwater management, before they can seek the town's approval of the concept plan. And I think they're still working on the traffic study for that. So that's it.
Okay. I think the people that did the digging for the broadband, incredible job. It was 100 degrees when those guys were out there digging.
Yeah, and they went deep quick, and they were moving.
Yeah, certainly were, and they worked late some nights, and they were very polite, and I think they did a great job. From my perspective, all around my little street, they did really well.
Yeah, but my only question then, Jim, is if they did the digging, they're doing the inspection themselves to see if it looks the same, or?
They're doing the
gonna
inspection.
interact with the homeowners themselves?
No, they're doing the inspection themselves, but I can tell you this, if we see an issue, we tell them to go out and fix it. For example, we got a call today about they're called flower pots, which is basically the plate in the ground that has their equipment below, about an issue with basically erosion around that.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth talked to them. boom, sent an email right out to Antietam, heard right back from Antietam, said they'll be right on top of it. And that's the way it has been through the whole plan. They are very
So then I'll-
proactive
Very
in going back
I'll
out.
get with you afterwards,
Yeah.
because, yeah, mine, you know, there's no growth.
Okay.
Anywhere
Yeah,
Well-
I think some of that's
It's
due
a
to the
dry.
weather.
It's a
So
drought and
that's
nothing's
another
growing
reason
now.
why they're gonna
Yeah.
come back and
Yeah.
do the quality check.
Yeah, they actually said at this point, they're not gonna reseed or anything this time of year.
Wait till fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
It'd be
simply,
a waste.
yeah, it's gonna be a waste.
Yeah.
So, that's it.
Okay. All right, next on the agenda, discussion of the concept site plan for Tractor Supply, Hanover Pike. It hasn't changed since a few minutes ago, map 0500, parcel 3193. Any discussion, any further discussion?
So what we need to do now is I need to make you all aware of the adequate facility study for Tractor Supply, which we now must do for any development. We must do it in each phase. So we do an adequate facility study in the concept phase and in the final phase. So this document is presented to you in accordance with sections 120-7, A and B of the Hampstead Town Code. A, the zoning administrator's study. The proposed use of this property as a retail store is a permitted use in the general business district. The concept site plan complies with all the applicable provisions of the code of the town of Hampstead and all other applicable state and county codes and provisions. Commission considerations. Please refer to the review comments made by state, county, and town agencies. Local schools will not be impacted by this project. The proposed use will not create an inadequacy in police protection, recreational services, sewer service, or roads. The proposed use will not create an inadequacy in fire protection and emergency services. The amount of town water used, based on an estimated 225 gallons per day, will not create an inadequacy in water or sewer services. Basically, that estimated 225 gallons per day, that is, it basically equates to a single-family home. That's what that number is. So, this project will conform to the Town of Hampstead Environment's Comprehensive Plan and the Carroll County Water and Sewer Master Plan. Water is currently in the existing service category, and sewer is in the future service category, and will move to the final planning or priority with the fall amendment to the Carroll County Water and Sewer Master Plan. The town is requiring the applicant to connect to public sewer, and the details of the connection to public sewer are being discussed between the applicant, the town, and the county. To the best of our knowledge, the proposed use does not violate the provisions of any enforceable deed, restrictions of covenants attached to this property. So, this information is submitted to the Commission for your consideration during deliberations for approval of the concept site plan. This information is accurate to the best of my knowledge. So, and Elizabeth went ahead and got you this really big packet. And these are all the county reviews. You will
Love the
notice.
responses to all of them.
Correct, and yes.
Love that.
Yes, she did a very thorough job of giving you all the information. One thing you will notice in there is when you get to the engineering letter, you will notice from, and it's from Andrea Barco, that a traffic study is not required for this, because basically a traffic study, all it shows you is, it normally shows you the impact on intersections from the new proposed development. In this case, all it would have shown you was the amount of vehicles in and out of that parcel. And we already know that, they have it already figured out at 60, their peak hour, I think, is 60 vehicles total between in and out. So Andrea, we talked about it, she's like, I don't see a need for it, and I was like, if you say that, I agree with you. So,
So who owns that stretch of, is that town?
That is
in
town.
front?
That
Any
is
chance
town.
of lowering the speed limit through there and having it?
that's a very big consideration up
Okay.
till Farm Woods Land, or possibly just past
A
it.
little bit past would probably be
Yep.
helpful,
Yep, absolutely.
especially if it's enforced.
What is it? It's 40 once you get north of
Freeman Station.
United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it drops to 30.
And people are
So-
going
So you're just
55.
gonna-
so
considering keeping it 30 the whole way through?
Correct.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Yep, and I think it's necessary. You're adding a new business there. Eventually, you'll have some stuff across the street in the North Carroll
Yeah,
Business
I
Center.
just noticed already coming out of Greenmount in the Greenmount Bowl, it's such a tough little spot. It's like a little rise
It is.
you can't quite see coming out of there, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, when you imagine what this place would be, what it would be like coming out of there, certain times of day. That's,
For example, so they have, they're saying their maximum peak hours will be 60 vehicles in, 60 vehicles out.
And that's part of your packet too, is their.
yeah, I saw that. yeah.
So anyone who's been to Greenmount Station on a Friday or Saturday evening and know when people are going in and out of that entrance to the restaurant and the bowling alley, that's many more vehicles than 60.
There's a lot more than the 60, I bet.
Yeah, so,
Plus, you've got so many people that use Farmwoods as a cut-through from the other side past the town of
correct, coming
Hampstead.
like from Fairmount.
So
Yeah.
that's basic. So what's involved with that consideration for the
Since
speed limit?
It'll be council.
Okay.
Anything dealing with traffic control, whether it be signs or speed limits, and since it's now a town-owned road, is got to be made by the council. So we will, make a suggestion to them and tell them the reasons why, and leave it up to them.
Liaison.
Okay? I said, did I answer your question?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, good. Glad. Okay. Any other discussion or something we should know that we don't know, Jim?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. I think we have to do some more reading. At least I have to do some more reading. I'll speak for myself. Okay. No further discussion. We'll move on then to the introduction of the concept site plan for Wise Gas and Go, 721 Hanover Pike.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Bill Swanick. I'm with HRG. I'm the project engineer for the Wise Markets development. With me tonight, I have Alex Orbia. He's with Wise Markets, so if there's any operational questions, he can certainly chime in. Not too sure about process. Jim, do you want me just to start up?
Go for it.
Awesome.
Bill, just real quick, that microphone turns on too.
Better?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm a loud talker anyway,
Yeah.
you know that. I don't know what level of concept plan you guys are used to seeing, but this is pretty complete. Probably concept for you, not so much of a concept for Wise Markets. I probably personally have 30 of these under my belt, development-wise. Alex can give you some other numbers if need be. Probably the closest example of one of these for you to go look at would be in Westminster. That was one that actually I did several years ago. So this is pretty much our standard plan packet. This was submitted to the town and also to the county. I did receive confirmation that they received all the hard copies, so they're well under their review. I'll just walk you through our plan set real quick. I'm sure you're familiar with the Roberts Field Shopping Center in general. Cover sheet, nothing new there, other than I just want to make sure I put a reference note to our BZA approval that occurred last month for the use. So I did state that. Certainly the cover contains a lot of site data and notes. A lot of notes on the next 2 pages, just tried and true notes for Wise Markets as well as the county and the town. Sheet 4 is really just an overall existing conditions plan of the Roberts Field Shopping Center. So you can see that in planimetric. My original exhibits, I had some Google imagery, some aerials, but I turned that off for this submission. It just makes it a little cleaner. The area of development on this plan would be down along the highway at the lower part of the project. You can see there's some detailed contouring and a little bit different looking topo there. That's the area where we did actual field survey for the Wise Markets development. So the subsequent sheets, you'll see things down in that area. The next page is really just an enlargement of our development area so you can see it at a little greater scale, void of the rest of the shopping center. It's currently undeveloped, vacant, grass. It was future parking for future phases of Roberts Field Shopping Center where we're developing. Sheet 6 and 7 are site plans. Sheet 6 shows you how it works with the overall shopping center at a larger scale. I would probably go to sheet 7 immediately. That's the enlargement of our gas and go. Very simple layout. The cross-hatched area would be your canopy. So there's a raised canopy over our fuel pumps. The entire fuel pump area is all concrete pad. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pumps, and these would be, there's a double on the outside, and then 2 singles for fueling positions. The rectangle in the back of the canopy rectangle would be the kiosk for the employee. It's a real small kiosk, about 200 square feet, employee only. There is a restroom inside the kiosk just for the employee. Employee is on site full time. When the gas station is in operation, that kiosk is manned, period. Certainly operational. If you have any questions, we can talk to Alex a little bit more on that one. The site plan also shows we have good circulation around the site, adequate widths for, two-way traffic around the entire fueling compound. I'm showing the fuel tanks down at the western edge of our compound. And then we also always include an air pump parking space, air pump, and then there's actually an employee space there as well for this project. The next sheets get into a little bit more of the engineering design. Sheet 8 would be your grading plan. Not much to talk about there other than the triangle island that we're creating between our 2 access points. That's going to be our stormwater management basin. We'll carve that out. We're able to convey all of our stormwater management into that location, control it, and then we'll discharge it into the systems that exist for the Roberts Field Shopping Center. Certainly, as was discussed with the previous plan, MDE review, ENS review, full stormwater review. Doing these in Carroll County and in Maryland in the past, we recognize the fueling facility, some of the issues with runoff from a facility like ours. We always include the downslope trench drain so that we can capture any runoff from that fueling pad. We take that to clarifiers, oil water separators, and then also any inlets within our compound is also protected by water quality inserts. So very cognizant of fuel drip spills. That seems to meet the requirements of MDE on our past projects. Utility plan is next. Sheet 9, like I said, the kiosk does have a restroom in it. We're talking about a whopping probably 10 to 15 gallons per day for flush toilet and a sink. I am connecting water and sewer to the existing systems within Roberts Field. There's mains and laterals there that we can connect to for service. We'll certainly work with the town on any applications that we need to there. This plan also shows the kiosk connecting to the store. There's an FOC line on that plan, a fiber optic line. The gas and go is physically connected to the Wise Market store for pricing, cash registers. Basically, it's a remote cash register in the gas and go facility. The plan also shows our electrical connection. We have good electric just along our side of Maryland Route 30, so that's where we'll tie into that utility pole to bring service to the gas and go. Also on that sheet, there's an enlargement that kind of gives you the relationship between the proposed gas and go and the Wise Markets. We showed that really just to show the alignment of that FOC, that data connection line. Also included, not so much concept, but we did a full lighting plan. So we're able to show no spillage from our property. There are no freestanding lights proposed. Everything would be underlit from the canopy. So there's enough down shed of light to meet all the minimum requirements there. Landscaping, we'll still probably polish up. We'll get into landscaping. There weren't a lot of requirements, but we'll still have a landscaping plan per se. I don't think there were any requirements for bufferings or screenings, but we would just have the normal commercial landscaping. There is a placeholder for erosion and sedimentation control. Certainly that has to go through the conservation district, typical of the stormwater management plan. Going farther into set, sheet 12, we always make sure we can get our fuel truck in and out of our gas and go, so that's what you're seeing there. I'm not concerned with them in the rest of the shopping center because they're making deliveries to the backs of the retail facilities now. So our main concern was just making sure they can offload fuel and get out of our facility. That's all done at off-peak time, so there's typically no conflicts with people that are there fueling their vehicles. And then you get into a lot of engineering profiles, details. This is pretty much a construction set that I brought before you, thus the level of detail. There is the last sheet in the set. I tried to provide just some general architectural plans so you can kind of envision what this is going to look like. Again, a perfect example would be over there in Westminster for you, but columns holding up a canopy above the kiosk. There's really not a lot to it. We understand signing and everything is a different application. This is really just shown just for conceptual purposes here today.
As far as signage, if you tie the signage into the site plan and give all the details necessary, the signage can be approved during the site plan process.
Wonderful, we'll probably take you up on that.
These are great plans, like you really,
Yeah.
They're
I'm
very
digging-
thorough.
I'm really digging the truck thing, because
Thank you.
that would have been a question as far as that goes.
We've been through so many of these,
bet.
we try to get the answers to you before the questions arise. Yeah,
This was
so
great.
that's kind of the MO here tonight.
Good
Yeah,
job.
that's great. My question is, some of our gas stations are 24/7. Is this gonna be that, or is it gonna be when the grocery stores?
I'll say
hours?
no, and Alex, you want to chime
Yeah,
in?
that's correct. The gas station will operate the same hours, the same days as the store. When the store is closed, the gas station is closed.
Great.
And overnight, when the gas station is closed, it'll go into security lighting. Dimly lit, just enough for security. The lights don't go out, but they'll just phase out.
Very good.
Yeah, so now I realize it's a gas and go, but, what's the plan to retrofit these in the future if electric becomes a thing?
It's in the works. We are thinking about it in the future, not just yet, but our facilities will be retrofitted for vehicle charging. The issue sometimes is, where should that be? Okay, because if we are bringing it to the store, then you're gonna spend an hour shopping, okay? You don't wanna walk from this location to the store, it's right across the entire parking field. So we are studying where to implement these charging stations. And we're also looking for fast charging technology, which is not quite there.
Yeah, so that was maybe the second part of my question was gonna be, but you mentioned the electricity and the tie-in there, so if they're in a separate location,
Yeah.
part of a
It's gonna
different
be-
site plan altogether, right?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a modification to the parking field because,
Right.
again, location.
Some of the other grocery stores, I'm seeing them now, maybe taking the handicap spaces, moving them aside and getting those EV spaces out front. Like Alex said, while you're in the store shopping, charge your car up.
Yeah, and I think just a question on the general Roberts Field area. I guess, Jim, this is maybe for you and Elizabeth. I don't remember any other signage or anything from Roberts Field coming through planning and zoning. Is it excluded, or?
It's outside the Main Street revitalization area.
That's what I thought.
So it does have to get town approval, but it doesn't have to come to Planning and Zoning Commission. Same rules and regs apply
Yeah.
as when they come here, but it just doesn't have to come to the commission.
Yeah, and then the last question, so I'm just picturing this, it showed the Weiss relative to the Gas and Go, but this is just adjacent to the Farmers and Merchant Bank, is that?
Correct.
Yeah, that's
So this
where
was,
it is.
this property's been like empty for 30 years, since I've been, Roberts Field's been a thing. And so is this the last spot that's gonna
This,
be
as
developed?
far as we know, what I think what you saw over the years, Roberts Field was phased.
Right.
What's built there now was phase one. This plan supersedes phases 2 and 3, so if they would ever want to do anything else with an out parcel or another small branch bank or a little, development pad, they would come before you with another plan. But I think that's what you're seeing is these vacant areas were all future development that just never happened.
Yeah. I can't ever remember that being anything other than what it is, grass.
Yeah.
Oh, and a couple of Canada geese. Call it home.
Yeah. The
Yes.
one thing that I was, again, getting into the Roberts Field design, I know they have stormwater management, they've got basins, but I didn't know how they were designed or how they work. That's why we're I want to use the word self-sufficient void of what's going on with Roberts Field. We're taking care of our own stormwater, our own utilities. That's really why you don't see much of Roberts Field on our plan. We zoom in on our gas and go.
Well, the project was approved sometime, I would think, somewhere 15 years ago or so, for an expansion. But the plan never gelled up, it was never built. So we're tenants here since 1991, and we are in collaboration with the owner. So they understand, because it's not the original owner either, ownership transfer. So the current owner and us, we are working on this plan, despite of what other projects have been envisioned for expansion of the shopping center. And to Bill's point, if the owner decided to come back with an expansion of, say, the shopping strip perhaps, that would come to you as a new plan.
Great, thank you.
You said you're doing your own facilities, but what you're actually doing is you're tying your facilities into the existing water and sewer infrastructure.
The water and sewer,
So basically,
correct.
the water that's used or the sewer that's generated there will still be part of basically the water or sewer account that's in existence now.
For the shopping
There's
center.
no new accounts getting new meters, nothing like that.
No, I mean, we
Okay.
would prefer not to.
Just-
Really, this is.
no, that works for us.
In my mind, it's a remote restroom.
Right.
It really
And
is.
same with, you
Yeah.
said the stormwater management. That
Exactly.
ties into the existing stormwater management.
But we'll
okay.
be at pre-development before we do any tie-in.
Perfect.
We'll be at
Seems a lot
that pre.
easier
It does.
for every group,
Great.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is it wise or wise or wise?
Wise.
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 Like being wise.
We called it Weeze for 10 years. so-
I've been calling it all kinds of different things. I'm like, wise, wheeze, you know what I
We
mean.
don't mind as long as you shop.
Yeah.
As long as
And
you
I
shop,
do.
that's right,
And I
yes.
do.
And we all do, yes.
Very good.
I bet you said that a few times, haven't you? So we just got these, we haven't reviewed them. We'll look at them, Public Works will look at them.
Hear his name.
You know, we'll be with Carroll County, going back and forth on comments,
Yeah, I
and,
think.
just like everything else.
Could I just confirm our process? I'm a little confused about meetings coming back before the town, because I hear the introductory, preliminary, final. I guess we're introducing our concept plan tonight.
Correct.
Right.
So-
The plan before us had already done this, and they were at their hearing stage.
Correct, they're one step ahead of you.
Okay,
So basically, you have concept and you have final, and there's 3 steps in each. Introduction, public hearing, and approval. And they must be in separate months.
Okay.
So at a minimum, you're a 6-month process with us.
okay.
Honestly, to get it through the county's review, if you can do it in 6 months, that's amazing.
We'll
So-
probably make it through you guys first.
Well, you will,
yeah.
with the exception of approvals.
Okay.
Because we're not gonna approve until you guys have all the county bureaus
Understood.
signed off and approving. So,
Understood. So we can make it that far, and then we wait till we have everything in place. coming for
Correct.
Final approval.
yeah, so normally what we do is me and Elizabeth will watch the plan, and because we can see online what Carroll County's doing with it, who's approving it, who's not. And if there's been, say, in the first month, there's been significant progress with approvals in the county, Elizabeth will reach out and say, hey, do you guys want to do your public hearing this
Good,
month?
okay, great.
So if it's tied up in there, hey, let's wait a month or so before we come back with a public hearing.
Okay.
That's the way we'd like to handle it.
Nope, that's fine. I was just wondering about process, because I know early on I thought it was 3 steps, 2 meetings, but it's 2 steps.
2 phases,
3 meetings.
2 phases with three steps in each.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to revisit.
Comfortable with that?
And that both includes planning commission and council?
So
Yeah,
that's-
you
We
will,
go through the 3 steps with you,
all with the planning commission.
and then we go to council how many times?
No,
You don't have to go to council.
doesn't go to council.
Okay, very good.
Okay, that's where and again, we hail from Pennsylvania, where we deal with
Right.
planning commission, then you go to a board for approval. So just a little different process.
One-stop shop
Thank you for that.
besides the county.
I just wanted to, you're with Wise, but I missed your name and
Oh, I'm
what your
sorry.
association
My
is
name
with.
Alex Odorbia. I'm director of land development.
ORORBIA.
Thank you.
And you're director of land development with Wise Markets.
For West Market.
Got it, okay, thank you.
He pays my bills.
And Alex, if you don't mind, if you could stick around afterwards, I got one question for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm just gonna make one more plug for any landscaping, because that's kind of like the gateway into town, and it's looked kind of drab for many years, so anything you guys can.
Next sheet,
do
you'll
to-
see, we'll have a landscaping plan in there.
That would be great. Okay, good.
Any other questions?
Anyone else? Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We look forward to seeing you again.
We certainly do as well. Okay, introduction of Chapter 4 of the Community Comprehensive Plan, demographics and projections, next on the agenda.
So I am proud to say that I have handed the comp plan off.
Weren't you supposed to finish that first?
Is that why she finally has her own name?
That's why she's allowed to sit with the big kids.
So Elizabeth took on the demographics and projections chapter, and it's all hers.
Okay. Well, this is fairly close to, at least the data tables are close to what was there for the 2010 comprehensive plan. So I just updated it with the 2020 census data and did a little bit of different analysis on the different statistics. So please review it. If you have any suggestions, anything else you'd like to see, you could just let me know at the next meeting and go from there. I did add some additional tables, a chart and table at the end, which shows the growth of Hampstead since the 1930s, and you can see like the extreme increase in population in the 90s, where things have leveled out now, with the majority of the residential properties already developed. And then the chart at the bottom there is kind of a graphic of the aging of the population in Hampstead. This is something Jim kind of brought up to me, is the community has, lots of people settled here in the 90s, and they're all kind of growing here and staying. So that's what that chart is, the comparison between 2000 and 2020.
You can see how the community is basically aged in place.
Okay, watch how you say things.
Say.
Some of us are in
Be
that.
careful about those ages,
I'm
please.
included, so.
Elizabeth, usually there's a few typos I've circled by now, but I'm not seeing anything, so.
Very good.
Appreciate it, Barb.
My goodness.
The process for this is introduction,
Yes.
review,
Yep.
and next meeting we'll,
We'll discuss the next meeting.
Right.
so you have plenty of
Excellent.
time there.
If-
Barb.
Yeah, Barb, you can just look at it and
Good.
check it
It's got
out.
like
I was
tables,
wondering about that,
charts,
Barb.
so it's nice.
Yeah, I know, I like pictures too, Charlie.
Pictures and numbers that I can't, argue.
Yeah, I'm into it, and colors, look at the
Great.
colors.
Yeah,
The
pretty.
colors.
Yes, I like that too. Got my attention right away.
How many more chapters, because you know I will be asked.
2 more after
Two more?
this?
I thought it was 7.
Jim's just adding on.
always
You
make
said you were
me
gonna
say
do the
like
next one.
10 or
2.
2 more. Awesome. Because I always get asked that question.
There's municipal growth, which is a bear, just to quantify and turn the data and what you plan or what you anticipate happening. And then after that is basically how we plan to implement things for the next 10 years.
Okay. Shall we move along? Y'all, any questions, comments further? Okay, Carroll County Department of Planning update.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Good to see everyone. Just a couple quick updates from the County Department of Planning. Last week, Maryland Department of Environment gave confirmation that the spring amendment to the Carroll County Water and Sewer Master Plan was approved. I've brought to you several meetings in the past that we're working on updated procedures and an application that I spoke with Jim and Elizabeth about this past week. And on August 1st, the fall 2024 amendment cycle applications are due to the county. For the housing study, the county consultant Mosaic is gathering data and will compile a draft report. Also, with anything with the county housing study, you can direct questions to me, but then I will forward them to Tiffany Fawcett, who is in our department, and also with county text amendments. We talked about the food processing DAF storage. The Board of County Commissioners voted on June 27th to prohibit the storage of food processing residuals in the county. That is all I have. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, any questions or comments? Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is there any other business this evening? No other comments? Okay. May we then have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
May I have a second?
Second.
Any other comments? A meeting is adjourned. Thank you.